Alrighty, so hopefully you're starting to begin to develop a little bit more mastery on some of these questions, or at least a little bit more understanding than the day before. We're going to begin with the elephant problem, which states that an elephant needs to drink at least 38 gallons of water each day. A drinking tank contains 3 gallons of water. The elephant has already consumed 11 gallons of water, so I'm highlighting all our important information. How many more tanks X of water does the elephant need to drink? Right, your answer is inequality. So if we just think through this problem, then we can think about how this elephant, let's see if I can draw an elephant. This elephant needs to drink at least 38 gallons of water. So the goal is that the elephant drinks by the end of the day at least 38 gallons of water. Now in its stomach, the elephant already has consumed 11 gallons of water according to our problem. So we already have 11 gallons in our elephant. But we want to get to 38 gallons of water, so we need to figure out how much more water does the elephant need to drink in order to reach his daily goal would be the first step of this problem. So the way that you would set this up as inequality, and it's just important to know how to set it up as inequality. You can solve it through reasoning. If that's what you want to do on the test, that's fine. But the way that we would set this up is we would add together what the elephant has already drank plus what we're going to give the elephant, and we want that by the end of the day to be at least 38 gallons of water. Now we're going to give the elephant these tanks of water that each contain 3 gallons. Now what we need to figure out is how many more tanks of water does the elephant need to drink? How many more tanks do we need to give the elephant? Well, he already drank 11 gallons, and every time we give the elephant a tank, we're going to add X, because X represents the tanks. But we're not going to, if we give him 1 tank, that doesn't mean we're going to do 11 plus 1 and say that he's now had 12 gallons. No, if we give him 1 tank that has 3 gallons in the tank, that means we're going to do 11 plus 3. And so every time that we give a tank, we have to multiply the number of tanks by 3, because each tank contains 3 gallons. And then we're going to set that to be at least 38. So what he has already drank, the 11 plus what we give, which is each tank times 3, has to be at least 38. Now we want to get the X by itself, so that means they're going to have to subtract 11 from both sides. And this is how we determine how much more water he still needs to drink. If the elephant has already drank 11 and he wants to get to 38, then you can find the difference between those two numbers and say that the elephant still needs to drink at least 27 more gallons. Now that wouldn't be our answer right there, because we're not being asked how many more gallons does the elephant need to drink. We're asking ourselves how many more tanks do we need to give the elephant. So if we need to give him 27 more gallons and each tank contains 3 gallons, then we can divide those two values to determine that X, the number of tanks that we need to give the elephant, is either equal to 9 tanks or more than 9 tanks. Because if we give him more, then that means he's gone over his goal, which is always good. But if we give him less, then that would mean that he didn't reach that daily goal of water he would be in dehydration. So hopefully that one made a little more sense. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Tell whether -2 is a solution of the inequality 3 minus 5 times x is greater than 11. So on this one, I set it up here for you where I just wanted you to take that -2 and substitute it into the original inequality. So 3 minus 5 times x is going to turn to 3 minus 5 times -2 is greater than or equal to 11. Now I know some of you guys solve this by first solving for x and then checking to see if the value given is valid. We're going to solve it this time by substituting in that value. So then after this, we need to simplify it as much as possible and then determine, is it a true statement? So we're going to follow PEMDAS, and we're going to start with 5 times -2. 5 times -2 would be a -10. And then bring down the 3 minus. So there's now going to be 3 minus -10. 3 minus, and then 5 times -2 was -10. And then 3 minus -10 seems kind of odd, so we can change that around. We can do a keep change on that and turn that to 3 plus +10. So keep change is greater than or equal to 11, and 3 plus 10, well, that's 13. And is 13 greater than or equal to 11? It's not equal to, but it is greater, so we would say yes. -2 is a solution to the inequality. On the next one, the solution of a minus b is greater than -7 is a is greater than -5. What is the value of b? So this problem is telling me that this problem right here, this inequality, has a solution of this. So let's read that one more time. The solution of this inequality is this answer. So if this is my original problem, and this is the answer to it, we got to figure out what number do we need to plug in for b so that when we solve out the problem to get the answer, it comes out to be a is greater than -5. So if we do a minus b is greater than -7, and the answer is a is greater than -5, as we've talked about, they got rid of the b here. So we're going to need to get rid of the minus b. And to get rid of the minus b, we're going to do plus b, because the minus b and the plus b will cancel out and leave you with just the a left over. And then now on the other side, we need to think to ourselves, -7 that was given plus what number is going to bring you to -5. And the way I want you to think about this is, if we have 7 negatives, and we're going to add something to it, we're going to add a number to it, what do we need to add in order to turn it to -5? So we need, of those 7 negatives, we need 2 of them to cancel out. So to cancel it out, we're going to have to give it some positives, and we're going to cancel 2 of them out. So when you have these 7 negatives and you add a positive 2, then you can see that these would cancel out, this would cancel out, and leave you with those -5 left over. So you would have -7 plus, and then we wanted to add 2 positives, so it would be -7 plus 2. And so we're going to exchange all the values of b for the number 2 and say that b is equal to